Olá, seja bem-vindo ao canal Learn and Share, aqui na Season MarketWatch. Hoje, para vos trazer uma entrevista dada em inglês pelo responsável do projeto Sphere, aquilo que muitos consideram como um projeto sólido e de grande futuro. De qualquer forma, e como sempre dizemos, isto não é uma recomendação de compra ou de venda, apenas uma partilha de informação sobre esta área.
I'm really excited. So I've actually kind of heard some of the things that Sim's going to be talking about today. We have like these brainstorm sessions every so often, and yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited for him to go through and talk about it, and to kind of share his vision for Sphere going forward. For those of you guys who don't know anything about Sphere, which I can imagine there's probably, at least some of you guys have maybe never heard about Sphere. Sphere is basically a project, I call it like the BlackRock of crypto. The goal or the intent of Sphere is to basically slowly go and acquire different governance rights across crypto to sort of like take over projects, or at least hold enough governance that they hold the sway in the project and are able to tip votes in their favor. A lot of this concept isn't new in crypto. A lot of this concept comes from something called Curve over on Ethereum, and this thing called the Curve Wars, which is basically the Curve Wars on Ethereum. If you want access to like a good amount of liquidity, you need to go through Curve. It's like the place you go. And so these projects that need access to this liquidity, what they'll have to do in order to get approved for Curve is they'll have to get enough votes. And so this becomes an issue because so many projects want it that it becomes really competitive. And so a lot of these projects will pay out bribes, often, times millions of dollars, to different governance holders to be able to get the governance rights to on Curve. To get this liquidity. So Sphere is doing something similar, but doing it on Polygon and other places. But yeah, that's the general idea of Sphere. And it's using some of the mechanics of something like Titano, or it's using some of the mechanics of something like Ohm. It's really a mismatch of various mechanics across DeFi with quite a few inventions of its own that, Simsala has come up with a couple innovations that previously didn't exist in DeFi, period. And I think some of those innovations is what he's going to be talking about today. Sim, do we got you back yet? Okay, Sim, here's what you should try. Try leaving. Yep, and then come back. And oftentimes that will fix it if there's an issue. So we'll give him a second to leave and come back. In the meantime, I'm going to go through, I'll answer a couple questions about Sphere in the meantime from what I know, and then maybe Gio, you could chime in a little bit. Matt, can you just snag a couple questions while we're waiting for Sim?
Yes, sir. I would love to. First question. Oh, yeah. Was Gio saying something? Never mind. I thought someone was saying something. First question from Craig. Do we have any news on when the airdrop is coming?
I don't know anything about the airdrop, so move on to the next question.
All right. Do we want to talk about, let's see. Sorry, I'm scrolling through trying to find questions that don't include hand washing. Okay, Sim said he's in. Do you want to re-invite Simsala? Just got a DM.
1 second.
Hello?
There he is.
Yeah, sorry, I had to wash my hands once more. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what happened.
Well, we're glad you're back with clean hands.
Thank you. That was a very, very nice introduction. Thank you, Jesse. About the airdrops, we had so much to do recently. I'm very sorry about the airdrop. We are going to be doing them. We deployed the contract, but I had a lot of things in the background happening. We are going to address a little bit of things coming now. Of course, not everything, because we are going to have a Mais soon on new utility items, but we're going to focus on the big utility item today. And yeah, I just want to say good morning, Sphereans. Yeah, good day, dear council. And I have washed my hands, so let's begin. Yeah, I want to start off with gratitude and appreciation. Because not only we just have started, and we're just not getting started, as you will hear today. A lot of things are gonna happen, and I'm very, very excited to share on that. And our community is amazing, so I think they will really love on what we are doing. From extremely important questions that we're going to address today, from what color Lambo is best to have bring the blue in their eyes that we had asked, to whether or not they will be able to buy a house with the amount of sphere they have when they live in Romania, right? Of course, there are also some questions if I'm Elon Musk or maybe the president of the US. That is going to be addressed today as well. Or maybe not. I cannot reveal. But yeah, let's dive in. I hope that was a bit of excitement there coming up. I'm just getting some stuff on the side for me to talk. I had some numbers that I have to bring up, and then we can start talking. But yeah, like I said, the airdrop is coming soon. No worries, I have not forgotten anything. And yeah, sorry for talking there.
No
I'm just very, very, very excited about the new utility that we're adding. Yeah, let me just put it on the side. So a lot of people know about quantum liquidity, right? We have talked about that. We all love it, right? Basically, what quantum liquidity does and why it's an innovation, like Jesse said, we have brought innovation to the DeFi space, right?
Real quick, can I stop you for a second?
No, okay, you go.
So, the last place that we had talked to you in Obsidian, I'm sure there's a lot of people from your community who know a lot of this stuff, but the last place that we kind of talked to you in Obsidian was it was pre-launch. You hadn't even launched yet, and so a lot has really happened with Sphere since you guys have launched. Like almost an insane amount has happened since you've launched. And so could you kind of just briefly cover what you've been up to since launch?
Since launch, I think we even talked before we launched.
Yeah, yes. So
should I talk about the pre-sales as well?
Sure. Yeah, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah. I'm sorry if you guys hear my breathing. I just have the mic very close to my mic because my actual mic broke down. But yeah, since launch, we raised $750,000 in 40 minutes or something, and that was only because we actually added limits to every wallet over time, right? It was the stepping thing, right? First 15 minutes is $500. The second 15 minutes it's $1,000, and so on and so forth. And in the meantime, we actually congested the network. That was unreal. And at the public sale, we raised $1 million, and we again congested the blockchain, and we sold out within 1 minute and 20 seconds. We raised the fastest way possible. There is no project that raised remotely as fast as what we did during that sale, right? It was insane. Then we had the launch. We had played. We added the 13% tax. A lot of people sold, of course. We had this little bottom after the sale, and then we had this massive rally, right? People that held from launch to now 35 or 36x by now with Sphere, right? Yeah. And we haven't even launched. We're like literally 14 days old, right, to the public now. And we already added so many different utility items. We released Sphere games that was actually planned for the next month or the next quarter, right? From April to June. Is it? Yeah, from April to June. We released that within a week post-launch because we were so, ready on overtaking the space, right? So we actually already released utility that was actually planned coming forward. And a little alpha there, Sphere Games is so close to coming back. Like you can literally smell it. It's coming. It's coming soon. We are, a little bit of alpha. We already have tested it. It's on mainnet. The only thing we have to do is, just launch it to you guys. it may be coming to tonight, maybe tomorrow, but Sphere Games is ready. We're gonna launch our first Sphere Games iteration again on Pool Together because people loved it, right? We are giving shout outs to the OGs of that created Sphere Game. Well, not created Sphere Games, but created the core mechanics of Sphere Games, right? And in the coming days, we are going to move that to in-house with claiming your token from the faucet, so you can actually have a bit of an APY even though you're inside of the Pool Together pool, right?
Can I ask you real quick? Can I ask you real quick?
Of course.
How does Sphere Games benefit Sphere's ecosystem?
An excellent question that I was about to answer. That's awesome. That's even better. Basically, Sphere Games is I don't know how I called it, a charitable, deflationary positive sum lottery, right? It has charity inside because we take 1% of the winnings and put it into a charity wallet. I think I can spoil a bit alpha here. Shout out to Austin. We are actually working on a campaign together for the first Sphere Games, how we can show that DeFi actually helps people, and we are going to be giving people, right? From Sphere Games or Sphere, the ecosystem is going to be giving out back to the people that need things, right? Second thing is we are actually going deflationary with it. This is the actual deflationary system that a lot of projects seek for, right? Because we have this hyperinflation that is coming as things compound, right? So what we did is you compound, and it's going inside of Pool Together, our pool, our Sphere Games pool, and on top of that, 10% get burned every time. That is actually offsetting the emissions of the compounding that happens, right? So 10% is always going to be taken and thrown away. It's not going to be completely in the minus, but it's offsetting the emissions, right? And that is the actual and true way of creating a deflationary asset, right?
And so your goal over a long period of time is to introduce more and more of these types of things to projects to offset and make that APY something that is sustainable in the long term.
Exactly. That is like the goal. You have to keep in mind we are very early and we are already adding so many utility items right now. It's unreal, right? We are going to be talking about the big release today. But before that, I have to keep the hype a bit. But no, but basically what we're working on is you have to make sure you add, items, utility items within the ecosystem that curb the inflation from the very beginning, right? And Sphere Games does that. Because so many tokens get burned, right? It means that the rebase has to offset way less, in a sense, right? Because the tokens are going to be phasing out slowly out of circulation. That means that the rebase is going to be concentrated on less and less tokens as time goes on. And that comes to the next innovation that we have added, is the community is very split, right? People call it the Sphere black hole, the black hole, or the event horizon. I like all the names, right? And the event horizon within its inception, right? And that is only on the burning of it's a burning mechanism, and it was only on selling. Well, it is only on selling right now. And it exceeded already 1 million Sphere tokens, or roughly 0.06% of the circulating supply forever ago.
So you're talking about this, the 2% on the sell tax, right?
Exactly. It's coming hand in hand with the Sphere Games.
Okay.
Because both are deflationary and or benefit the ecosystem.
And just to explain to everyone, what he's talking about is they've introduced on Sphere, every time people sell now, 2% of that goes to the Sphere black hole or the Sphere, event horizon. Basically, it goes to a dead wallet where it then it'll still rebase, but those tokens can never be taken back into supply. And so it's a massive deflationary step for Sphere towards, again, reducing that APY and making that more sustainable in the long term.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is massive already, right? So we already burned like 0.06 within 1.5 days. So you can imagine, when sell pressure happens, when a correction happens, whatever, that it's going to be harder and harder to dump the tokens coming forward, because the black hole is amassing more and more tokens, and on top of that, it's rebasing, right? So it's always going to keep the same market share as every other wallet, right? So this 0.06% now are forever gone. They're not going to come back. They cannot come back. And they are, making the APY more and more sustainable coming forward, because it's ever growing, right? So at one point, we're going to be like, the wallet is going to hold 1% of all tokens, then 2%, then 3%, then 4%, right? Because then Sphere is going to be more and more concentrated to the token holders that hold the token. And that is the goal of Sphere, right? To have these tokens become more and more concentrated in one spot. Man, I have to look somewhere else. The chat is crazy. Like, I can't concentrate on what I want to say every time I read something. Like, yeah. So,
well, I was gonna say, when I'm talking, I can't even look at the ledger. I stay in this because it's too hard to, talk.
Yeah, I have to look at an entirely dead channel.
Don't even worry about looking at the ledger, you guys. I am like, that's why I'm not talking. I'm scrolling and copy and pasting questions right now. And I slowed it down to like 10 seconds at least, but it's still popping off. People are stoked to be here.
Yeah,
that's amazing. I love every one of you guys. It's amazing to have 1,000 people listening to us. It's unreal. I'm gonna look at our dashboard instead. I'm not gonna look at the monitor with the chat. We have added already deflationary mechanisms within the ecosystem, right? And we are starting from the very beginning of the protocol. So we are going to have this hardcore deflationary mechanisms coming forward, and it's not gonna stop at Sphere Games. I can tell you that, guys. Sphere Games is only something we have whipped out because we can, and it's awesome and it's a good utility, but that is not going to be the only item that is going to offset Sphere's inflation. We have so many more ideas that we're going to bring, and that is not even talking about investment strategies. That is coming soon.
So here's my question. How do you find the time to do that? Like, I genuinely do not understand, because I talk to a lot of projects, and you move at a pace that you're like a freaking Olympic athlete, running track and field, and they're like, I don't know, they're like running through a bog at a snail's pace. Like,
they're like me in high school with asthma compared to your skill.
Yeah, can I share a story real quick, just so everyone understands? Like, okay, there's a lot of smart crypto developers out there, but Sim is like on an entirely different level. We had a project. Taylor was actually working with them, where they had such a massive, and I won't share the project's name, but they had this massive error in their contract, and it was so bad that they thought, oh my gosh, we're going to have to literally shut down this project. And they had spent like a week or 2 weeks trying to fix this error. And Taylor was like, well, I guess I could have Sim look at it. And so Taylor like messages Sim. Sim's like, all right, I'll go check it out. Sim spends like 5 minutes looking at this. And he's like, all right, I fixed it. And then he jumps out. And then everyone is just like, wait, what? How did you do that? And it blows my mind. But Sim is like, he is on a different level when it comes to development, DeFi, and different things like that. And he's kind of built up this reputation. Like, the only other person I can compare him to would be like Zeus from Olympus. He's built up this reputation of like becoming sort of this little legend in the developer space. And you really do. You just move at this like ridiculous breakneck speed, and you do it with just such ease. Like, what is your secret?
Man. I love you, Jesse. Literally, I appreciate what you said, but I'm a normal guy, guys. Please don't. I'm reading the chat. Stop it, guys. I'm just a guy with a passion, right? That is what I can say. I live for this. What I can say is, Sphere is not something that we whipped up just like that, and that is what makes us the kingpins of DeFi. That's what I refer us to. We didn't just come with an idea. We didn't just look at other projects and we're like, okay, yeah, we're starting this now. just for a quick buck. No, this is a project we've been working for a half a year, and I have a huge plan that it's going to be massive. Like, I'm looking at Sphere. Jesse knows a lot of stuff that I haven't talked about publicly yet. Taylor knows a lot of stuff right now. The core team knows a lot of stuff. And that is where the question comes, like people think, okay, because Sim is this central figure, what happens if Sim fails or something happens to Sim? No worries. The entire team knows. And even if not the entire team knows, Jesse is there, Taylor is there, Matthew is there. Like, there's a lot of people who are going to take over my legacy, right? You don't have to worry about a thing, guys. Don't think if Sim failed, Sphere failed. That is not even. That can't be further from the truth, right? I have this amazing team around me and amazing people around me. The House of Obsidian, it has, they're genius themselves, right? Like, when I sit down with Jesse and we have this weekly meeting. Well, we talk about like different things, right? We're not just talking about Sphere, or we also talk about Jesse's YouTube channel. We talk about different projects, how we can approach different things, right? All of that is helping me develop this master idea of mine, where I would say, okay, this is going to change DeFi, and that is where I am sitting at, right? And because you ask how we can reach, or how I do this at this pace, is because I have already started developing Sphere before most of the projects that are around now, I won't name drop, have even existed, right? Sphere is something that I've been working on for months, right? Now it's just basically executing the idea. And I'm very, very happy that the execution right now is already working so seamlessly. And, another thing is, we are a project that believes in working with other projects. Right? We believe that working with other projects and, help them help us is actually how you create this true DeFi system, right? I'm a builder. I want to build, right? So I'm not looking at copying other features, and this is where I'm going to introduce our first official partner that we're going to be partnering up with, where you guys can see how the genius of this Sphere team is going to unfold, right? We are building, if you have seen Olympus's dashboard, right, with all Olympus Pro, Olympus Treasury, all that stuff, how much liquidity comes into the project. We are working with Multifarm, the project that created this dashboard for Olympus, and is going to create it for Redacted and for all these different projects, I assume. They are going to be building that for Sphere as well. So we are actually already recognized within the space to be on the same level as these hard hitters that are like 200, 300, 400, $500 million market cap. Olympus at a peak at $4 billion market cap. We are in talks with these people, and we are building with them, right? And this is where I can see us accelerating even harder in the future. We believe, in the passion of having something coming forward in the future. And that is where our passion relies in. And that is why I think that is where the pace comes in, because you have a vision in mind. Like, we have this picture, we have this tunnel vision. We don't sit in the Discord chat all day looking at the price and cry about every dip or every pump, because we don't care right now. We're at a $52 million market cap. We don't care. Like, the entire team doesn't care, because we are working as a team we treat Sphere as a multi-billion-dollar project, because Sphere is going to become a billion-dollar market cap project. And that's why right now, you may think that is fast, but we are just getting started.
That is amazing, and I like the sound of that. Sphere is going to be a billion-dollar project one day.
That is just
the hope. Well, I mean, I let me slide in real quick just to add on what Sim said. I shouldn't say we hope. Like, that is our goal. It's what we're working towards, and we won't stop till we get there. So we need everyone else to believe and be a part of the journey to help make it happen. But that's definitely our goal. Something that Sim has kind of talked about but maybe didn't say is that in addition to having great planning and a strong team building, right now the team doesn't really have a lot of balance. Like, Sphere is the number one focus, and literally everything else in our personal lives has been moved down in like order of importance. And so, I have a supporting wife who, like, she knows the vision. Like, I've shown her what we're building, and she's like helping me make it happen. It's mornings, it's nights, it's late night calls. We're dealing with different time zones. So like, because we believe so much in what we're doing, like we're putting other important things a little bit under in importance so that we can get enough momentum to like get out of the gravity that we're in and get into orbit.
Yeah, we are creating the gravity bridge.
Speaking of the gravity bridge, okay,
yes,
tell us a little bit about that. That's a pretty bold and crazy move you're making, and I think a lot of people are really excited. Binance is before you even talk about it, Binance I know is just a place where a lot of people hang out. Oh, there's a lot of liquidity on Binance, and that opens up a world of possibility. So first, explain what is Gravity Bridge, why you're doing it, and what's going on with that.
Yeah, let me just get out some numbers here. Yeah, Binance is currently a project with a rough TVL on DeFi Llama that is of $13 billion. It's the third biggest project that is in terms of chains, and it's the second biggest EVM project. There's a big difference between EVM and non-EVM, right? Because the compatibility. So Binance is simply the logical way to approach things. What the Gravity Bridge is now, the Gravity Bridge basically means we are creating a way for people who are comfortable with Binance to join Sphere through our website. You guys don't have to do anything. You have to buy the token. That is going to be the Dyson token. It's a wrap token that is required for off-chain trades. So if you want to have your token on a different chain, you have to create a wrapped version of your token, because that doesn't go up in quantity, because rebases make your tokens go more and more and more, right? So we created a token that represents that growth. So what happens is you can buy, let's say, Dyson on PancakeSwap, very basic example, right? On the Binance Smart Chain, you can go to PancakeSwap and buy Dyson. So what you do next is you go to sphere.finance, pretty awesome website, just to say, and more stuff on that soon, right? And then you go to our website, you click on the Gravity Bridge, you click, you choose Binance on the left, from to, and on the to it's Polygon, and you just click approve, and then you set the amount, and then you send it towards Polygon, and within a few minutes you are already part of the Polygon ecosystem. So it's a very, very, very easy way for people to come from Binance to Polygon without having to bridge their funds through a bridge, but rather they buy the token. We have actually an in-house swap basically right now. We have Bogged, right, on our website, where you can click swap, and then you can swap. Then you go there, you swap your token to Dyson, and then you go to the Gravity Bridge page and you bridge your Dyson to Polygon, and then you can participate in the Polygon ecosystem.
I loved how you at one point described it as like a liquidity black hole. It's like a way to suck liquidity. And if you guys don't know, liquidity is the lifeblood of DeFi. So when I'm talking about liquidity and Sim's talking about liquidity, you might be like, oh, this is boring. But like that gets me excited, because I'm like, oh my gosh, the more liquidity a project holds, it's like holding gold. It's like holding like DeFi gold, And the more liquidity that flows through a project, there's massive opportunity there. So if Sphere can position itself as sort of this liquidity black hole from sucking liquidity out of Binance into Polygon network, then that could be huge, because you're going to see an entire ecosystem build up around Sphere because of all this liquidity flowing through it. It's like having the access to the only fresh water on the continent, and Sphere's built its city around it, kind of. So that's pretty cool, and I'm pretty excited about that. But we've mentioned the Gravity Bridge, we've mentioned Sphere Games, we've mentioned the Event Horizon or whatever, the new burn. Let's talk about quantum liquidity.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let me crunch up the numbers.
We're ready. Take us on a flight, Sim.
Okay, guys. Now we have talked and we have peaked about quantum liquidity, and shout out to ETHEREUM, our partner in this. We created quantum liquidity to actually deepen the liquidity of Sphere. right? So what happens is Sphere is going to have its liquidity pool on its pseudo-owned DEX because we're going to hold the majority. So you can treat it as Sphere's DEX because, you know, Sphere and Tetu are like one big family, right? We are very, very close with that project, but we are taking off the hassle from the team to be actually working on a DEX, right? So we are going to be having the governance over the DEX, and that is where our governance comes in, right? We are going to earn the liquidity from these different projects without having to do anything ourselves. And that is where quantum liquidity comes in. We are going to have our WMATIC as it stands right now. We currently have $3.1 million worth of WMATIC, and we have the voting power to boost the liquidity incentive on WMATIC. So what we did right now as an experiment is we put in $200,000 of WMATIC in our Aave My Balancer pool with our friends at Tetu, and currently we are sitting at a $35,000 profit already. Right, so it's working. On top of that is we're gonna be using something that was not used to actually earn liquidity on top, right? You had this liquidity pool sitting there. We have $3 million of WMATIC sitting there. The only thing where WMATIC goes up is because of its price appreciation. It doesn't farm, it doesn't do anything in there. So what we thought is, you know, WMATIC is holding such a big chunk in our treasury. How can we utilize that and even make more money? Right? It's a big chunk of our treasury. So how can we utilize that to make even more money? So what we did is we created, you know, quantum liquidity. What happens is in the background, when the liquidity pool is not used, it takes the WMATIC and it starts farming the WMATIC. And thanks to the governance acquisitions that we have been doing in the past months, basically, we can actually incentivize our WMATIC pool to be from, let's say, 20% APY to 30% APY. So imagine we have $3 million of liquidity just sitting around doing nothing. We change that to become a project or a product, $3 million, and you earn 30% on top of that. That means $1 million of free gross profit to the Sphere ecosystem, right? This is something.
Wait! You said $1 million of profit?
Right as it stands now, with the 30% incentive that we are currently working for WMATIC, yes. Our current
and is that $1 million annually or $1 million annually?
Yeah, it is $1 million annually. Because 30% APY. And sorry for interrupting you there, but if you look on different strategies in the entire DeFi space right now, especially in the Polygon space, you won't find better strategies. And on top of that, if you want to think on how crazy that is, you can compare WMATIC and WETH. You're like the king if you find WETH with an APY of like 5 or 6%. That is unreal. And we are actually going to use the project, or well, not the project, the blockchain's own native token, and we're going to get a 30% return on that. That is something, it's mind-boggling, right? It's crazy.
So basically what you're saying is quantum liquidity is a way to put a project's liquidity to work earning a profit stream where previously it would just sit untouched.
Yeah. It basically means we have an entirely new revenue stream.
Got it. So it turns your liquidity into a revenue stream.
Exactly. And this is not done in the entirety of DeFi so far.
You guys are the first people to ever do this.
Yes, we are the first people to ever do that with Tetu, of course, right? And that strategy is already proven, and it's coming. It's already ready for Sphere. But since we are moving, like I said, with the gravity bridge and so on and so forth, we are going to be having the quantum liquidity ready for V2. So that is going to be a thing for us.
Got it. So this is basically another way for Sphere, in a long roundabout way, to not only make the APY sustainable, but also to prove that Sphere isn't just a junk project. Like Sphere, I mean, we already know the use cases of like acquiring projects, governance, curve wars, and all that. But now you also have this new use case of like, you have this new profit stream that you're projecting is going to bring in $1 million annually. That's a big deal, especially because that would grow as well with time, right?
Yeah. One thing, because the question here, maybe I have phrased myself wrong. How has it already been proven if you're the first ones to ever do it? What I meant is we have tested it and it works, and that's why we are implementing it. Sorry if I misphrased myself. And so yeah, it works. We tested it, it works, and we're going to be moving our liquidity, and we're going to make this a thing in the future.
Got it.
Now, and what was your question? Sorry, because I wanted to answer that question because I don't want to have any doubt. So yeah, please ask me what you wanted to ask.
I was just saying that as far as like the profit from this, like you expect that to, like, it's $1 million annually, but as your liquidity grows, that profit should grow with it.
Yes, not as hard, because the more the more you farm, the lower the APY goes, right? It's like if you have a farm with let's say 1,000% APY at 100,000 TVL, so it's going to fluctuate a little bit, but we are still making money where no money has been made before, right? So let's say we go to we become Wmatic becomes 10 million, right? So let's say, okay, it's not 30% more anymore, but let's say 27%. That is still crazy.
What's the risk of this? So like you're farming with this Matic, what's the risk of loss?
Thankfully, we are going to have insurance on our project. Plus, we are not actually going through projects that are not, not trusted. So we go through projects, let's say like Balancer, right? They are already a multi-billion-dollar project. So we are not actually, we're not taking the Wmatic and put it into a random farm. That is not the case. We are going through high-quality audited projects that are going to farm with our liquidity pool. On top of that, yes.
Keep going.
On top of that, the contracts that we're working with and Tattoo they are 4 times audited. 4 different companies audited their contracts. On top of that, Sphere is going to be audited twice, by Certic and by Solidity Finance. We took we take security to another level. I rather pay. Sorry, one more thing. I rather pay more money to have more security rather than going for a risky way, because this is not money it's not my money. It's not your money. It's no one's money. It's everyone's money, if that makes sense, right? No one.
Yeah.
The sentence before there was. So I don't care. I would pay gladly $100,000 or whatever to make sure it's secure, right?
I never doubt that. Just we always joke how your hand washing is just like a really good metaphor for like what you do with your code, what you do with your project. You're always just very careful, very organized, and just making sure you've really covered all your bases. What I was going to ask though, as far as like the quantum liquidity, so that's built through Tattoo, which you own. Or Sphere owns a portion of governance in Tattoo?
Yes. We are aiming to become the single biggest stake. It's like Curve and Convex, right? Tattoo is going to be its own thing, but we're going to be holding governance Tattoo, and we are funding Tattoo in a sense. We are 2 different projects, but we are working under the same umbrella. More on that is coming in the future announcements. But you can think of Tattoo, and shout out to God in Making, Pranjal. If you're listening to this, I love you, man. I have to shout out publicly. He is like the king of kings, right? He's like, man, I'm going to fly him to Germany. I'm gonna dox myself to him, and I'm gonna give him, the biggest man hug that the world has ever seen. You all will feel it all over the world. It's gonna be like this warmth that is gonna happen, right? Shout out to God in Making from Tattoo.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty jealous of Tattoo right now.
No, you're gonna get a big hug as well. But man, he's working. He literally is working for Tattoo, and at the same time, he's been working with me. And and sorry for the way I say that, but he's also working his ass off on Sphere, right? He's not even a Sphere team member, but because he's such a great guy, he helps me also utilize different strategies. We help Tattoo grow, and Tattoo helps us grow. It's like the perfect synergy. They needed they needed Sphere and we needed Sphere. Yes, we needed Sphere as well, and we need Tattoo, right? We have 2 different projects, but we have become one in a sense. So yeah, shout out to Tattoo. They've been working very, very good, and make sure to give some love to the people at Tattoo. They're coming to us as soon as well, and we're gonna have an AMA with these great people that have been helping us help them, right? We both are benefiting right now. Sorry for going off topic there, but
no, that was great, and that is awesome as far as quantum liquidity goes. But so it's going to allow you a new profit stream, $1 million annually. Is that the extent of quantum liquidity? It's just basically, I mean, no, I'm saying just, but that's pretty awesome that you're going to be able to put your liquidity to work and turn it into $1 million annually profit stream. But is there any other plans with quantum liquidity besides that?
And that comes, and now we bring the big announcements. We need someone drums right now, right? I don't know if you can hear that. So now the big announcement coming is Sphere is gonna create quantum liquidity as a service.
Dang.
Let me explain. We are gonna have projects come towards Sphere, right? And and it's going to be projects that come to us, to our DEX, that is crossed with Tattoo, and we are going to, oh man, the chat is going crazy. I can't concentrate. Whatever channel I can go in, I'm going to the announcement channel. Don't post anything, Matthew.
No promises. Just stay on. Just click on the Obsidian stage and stay there. That's what I tell Jesse to do.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens is we are providing quantum liquidity as a service. So what happens now is we are going to take a fee from different projects for them to join the quantum liquidity as a service pool, right? Because if you think about it, it's a no-brainer for any project that really cares about its community. And I have to emphasize on that. Any project that really cares about its community, as soon as we come to their chain, they should be coming towards Sphere and saying we want to utilize quantum liquidity as a service, because it's basically free money for these different projects. So how do we benefit from that, right? Projects will put X and Y and Z amount of their native token towards Sphere's treasury, right? So these different projects are going to be part of Sphere's ecosystem. They're going to be benefiting from, the quantum liquidity as a service, and they are going to be benefiting from Sphere's influence within the space, right? So what happens is, we take the risk of different projects coming towards us, and they put in their native token. We're going to be providing them with quantum liquidity, and as they grow, so does our treasury, right? So we are going to be incentivizing these projects, on strategies on how to build these projects coming forward, so they grow their bags in a sense, or their market cap, because in retrospect, we are growing with them. That is, I don't know how to say this, but it's crazy, right? If you look at Olympus Pro, they have, for example, bonding as a service, and we're providing quantum liquidity as a service. And I can bet that no project anytime soon is going to be copying quantum liquidity as a service. No fork, at least, right? So this is going to be an item where every project will be having to come to Sphere to actually utilize quantum liquidity as a service. So what happens? Let's say a project comes and 10x thanks to that, thanks to our ecosystem. Let's say we put 100,000. They have to pay $100,000 in fees towards Sphere's treasury, right? We help them grow, and they do a 10x. That basically means our project goes to $1 million. Our treasury goes to $1 million in quantity. So that is already, something very, very big. But that is not at all. Basically, since we become this DEX, there is fees happening when you swap your tokens, right? So let's say you go to QuickSwap and you swap WMatic to Sphere, right? You pay a certain fee to the DEX. So what happens now is we are going to incentivize the volume on these different projects. and we're going to strategize with these different projects on increasing their volume on our DEX. Why? Projects that are based on taxation, for example, like Sphere, they need that volume to grow their treasury, right? They want volume, and we're going to be building strategies for them to build that volume. So we are going to be benefiting from one side is that when they have a lot of volume, the appreciation of their token goes through the roof. So our actual investment in our treasury is going to go through the roof. They are benefiting from the Sphere's reputation and branding and marketing, cross-marketing endeavors with these different projects. So they're going to go through the roof, right? Thanks to having the stamp of Sphere, right? Not every project is just going to be stamped by Sphere in a sense. Only projects that are proven to be building are going to be stamped. That is crazy in itself, right? Making this project 10x, and for every, let's say, $100,000 investment, we make $1 million. That is crazy. But that is not it. That is not even the only thing we are working on. That is only half of it. Now we are creating this DEX, and now I have to throw some numbers out there. Guys, buckle down. We are going to take a very conservative example here. Since let's take QuickSwap, for example, right? They're quite big, and QuickSwap has it accrues fees of $150,000 on an average day, every single day. The DEX makes a profit of $150,000 every single day. You have to keep in mind 2/3 of that goes to the liquidity pool, and 1/3 goes to the TX tattoo holders. That is going to be us, because we are buying all the TX tattoo tokens. We are becoming this kingpin. We earn the most liquidity. And if we say we have that same hype, since we're going cross chain, that means as soon as we go to Binance, we go to Polygon. We are on Polygon. Once we go to Metis, once we go to Avalanche, once we distribute that on Phantom, we expect from that utility alone an annual income to our treasury of roughly $18.25 million to Sphere.
Wait. So I haven't heard this part. You're expecting $18 million in income for Sphere?
$18 million in income for Sphere.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty crazy, because considering your market cap's currently $50 million.
That's what I said. That's why I said we don't care about the current market cap. $50 million, that's all cool and dandy, and everyone is like, wow, that is cool. But we don't care. I'm talking about $1 billion project here, guys. Everyone who listens here, it's $1 billion project that we're working on here. $50 million, all cool. It's cool. It's nice to have, but that's only just getting started, guys. And we are providing a DEX. It's not something we are, building. We are not just building a DEX. We are building the next step of evolution in a DEX. We are revolutionizing how DEXs work in the future.
Wow. I mean, that's a lot to digest, and that's pretty. I mean, there's a lot of that I've heard, obviously, from you talking with you, but there's a couple of things that I'd never heard. That's pretty crazy. $18 million, that's no joke, especially if you're able to scale that over time. I think with crypto projects, that's kind of the new trend that's going to emerge. Is pre-Olympus, crypto projects just kind of went up and down with speculation, and then suddenly there was this concept of like, well, what if we actually brought in revenue like a normal business? And so I think a lot of projects are going to shift, with that kind of mindset. And so that's impressive to think, if you're going to be bringing in, if you could hit that $18 million, that's almost half your current market cap.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, that's incredible. That definitely is a sign of like, what's the point of this project, or like, this isn't sustainable. Well, it is sustainable at a 50 million market cap if they're bringing in $18 million annually. That's insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. this was, like I said, like I usually don't hype projects or announcements or whatever, right? But this one is crazy. We are bringing quantum liquidity as a service to different projects. And to start off from that is we have all these different projects coming, right, to Sphere, and we are already negotiating with a lot of different projects that are going to aim to be working with Sphere for the quantum liquidity as soon as we launch on their DEX, on their, on their blockchain. $18 million is what we are aiming for now. It's a very big goal, but we are actually, and that is why we are choosing smaller projects right now, is because their growth is way bigger or way more possible for the long term than trying to persuade smaller projects. We want to build an entirely new DeFi ecosystem with Sphere. Sphere's goal is not to only overtake projects like Curve and Convex. This is still very far away. Like with everything we do, that is still very far away. That is the Convex and Curve are like. Sorry, I was reading. God, I'm making just messaged me, and I had to read. Sorry, I'm coming. I can't look at the chat. Sorry, I'm so hyped. So the goal is, we want to build the new generation of DeFi. That is the goal of Sphere. The goal of Sphere is not only to overtake the old generation and make them submit to us because we're becoming so big, but we actually want to build upon these old projects and innovate upon them. So let's say quantum liquidity as a service is an innovation from the get-go. And we are going to take the best out of DeFi and make it even better.
What's blowing my mind right now is like I'm having trouble even thinking of all the different things you're doing. Like a normal project, I'd be hyped if they're like, "Hey, you're about to get this audit done, or we're about to get this done," and I'm like, "Man, can't wait for this audit to be done in a month." And the whole community's hyped for this. And you're like, "Yeah, we're doing Sphere games. We're using this gravity bridge. We're doing quantum liquidity. We're doing this Dyson V2 contract. We're doing our own Certic audit. We're doing this black hole. You got to come up with another name for the black hole, because you got the gravity bridge that's like a black hole for liquidity, and then you have
Event Horizon was pretty good because that's something that never returns. So
the event the liquidity event horizon, or the whatever you call it. You got all these different things. You got all these different things. And it blows my mind. It blows my mind. And that's just the things you're currently talking about. And then, and that doesn't even count like the fact that like what the project is, which is acquiring like acquisition of other projects' governance rights. Exactly what you're doing with Tetu, where you're coming in and you're saying, "Hey, we're gonna be partnering with this project in a sense. We're gonna be owning in a sense some equity in this project, and then helping it succeed." It doesn't even count that. And so this is why I get really excited about Sphere, because it's a really interesting and really great project. And you guys aren't this isn't an average crypto play. It's not like you're just building out some tokenomics to like, get people really hyped up for a couple weeks before the project crashes. You're building something that like you said, is like $1 billion crypto. I mean, this doesn't even sound like $1 billion. This sounds like a, $30 billion, $50 billion crypto project one day. You have this insane, big, bold vision, but not only that, you have the talent and the community and the capability to see that vision through. And that is what really just gets me super excited.
Yeah, we came to conquer. That is what I always say. And people are starting to realize that we are our own thing, right? We are building so many different things because we have a vision, and that is the most important thing. A lot of these projects, they're here for the quick buck, right? I can't blame them. People, they launch whatever token just, to make some money because they are the devs, whatever. But we at Sphere, we are all seasoned veterans in developing, right? Gio is, a senior dev. I am a senior dev. Weaver is a senior dev. We have EDUPS who's doing our UI UX, who's been doing designs for years, right? We have all these different. We have DVK who's been, managing big influencers like 3 million, 4 million, 5 million plus subscribers on YouTube, right? Like literally, like a prominent people here in Germany. We have Lilu who has taken projects from the brink of extinction, social media wise, pushing them to the next level, doubling their following in mere weeks, right? We have a lot of people coming in here. We have Avidith, we have Equinox, sorry if I pronounce the name wrong. We have, Migs, we have, MyFLS, we have the entire team, we have Rolf, we have all these different people flow, like we have this huge team. Everyone, each and every one of the team is so freaking awesome. They're all S-tier team members. We have, for example, also Neo, who's writing scripts for me to, how to articulate myself better for AMAs. He's rewriting the text of on our documents to make it more accessible to the public. He's a Disney writer, right? Like, you have to imagine we are surrounding ourselves with the creme de la creme, right? And then you actually produce things that are creme de la creme, right? That is like the huge difference, how we approach these different things. That's why people are pumping and happy about a $50 million market cap. Man, I don't care. Like, I'm saying this in the public right now. I don't care. We are going to $1 billion market cap for now. That is like this is the milestone we are looking at. This is not something we're going to be like, yeah, our goal is $1 billion market cap. Our $1 billion market cap is the goal that we are looking for now. And in the coming weeks and months, we have a lot of utility and a lot of different teams working with us, coming forward to improve on DeFi as it is right now. And we are going to provide utility items similarly to quantum liquidity as a service. We are basically releasing our own DEX not even 1 month post-launch. That is actually already changing how DeFi works. And this is only the first item on our list. We have so much more. We have so much more working on in the background. Already one more item, Jesse, or two, I think I told you in the background that I cannot talk right now about because it's still being done in the background. But Jesse knows. So I know, like a lot of people maybe know a little bit, but it's still coming. So much more is coming. And $50 million market cap, all cool and dandy, but this is not going to rest or stop.
I was just looking at a BlackRock because I literally always just think of BlackRock. When I think of Sphere, I think of BlackRock because it's a similar kind of idea, right? They go up and buy up all the real estate. They go up and buy all these assets, and they pull in like $11 billion in revenue, and so they're at $113 billion market cap, and maybe one day that's Sphere. Maybe one day Sphere is sitting at $113 billion market cap, or maybe even more. There's just so much more money flowing through crypto. I mean, if Dogecoin can hit 89 billion, if Dogecoin can hit 89 billion, then 113 billion for Sphere doesn't seem that insane. And I was even just crunching the number. I love to do this. Okay, so I love to crunch numbers on the back end when I'm looking at a project. I'm like, how big can this thing grow? And so, and I usually compare to like dumb projects because like, if a really dumb project could get there, then you know that a good project could too. And so for Shiba, if 200x'd from today's prices, 200x'd, you wouldn't be as big as Shiba Inu is.
Yeah, it's unreal.
That's unreal, but it also shows the potential, right? It also shows the potential. 100x and you'd be about where Olympus got to at its height, and almost to where time got to at its height. And so, long term, I mean, the future is bright, and that's I think what people need to see about Sphere is there are things I invest into in crypto that are always short term, and like I know they're dumb projects, and I invest anyway, just hoping they maybe end up not being so dumb. But knowing I can make money in the short term because they're hyped, right? But then there's long-term projects I invest in where I'm like, I'm going to invest in this thing for like the next 5 years because these guys are smart and they're building something insane. And that was like when I invested in Luna, right? I invested in Terra Luna. I'm like, these guys are pretty smart. I've been in that for like 2 years, and it went from $750 to $130,000. And so, I wouldn't do that with maybe some of these like Evergrow and different things like that. Those are things I got into for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, I'm out of this because this is insane and there's no way it can last. Sphere is a long-term project. It's like Terra Luna. It's like, Olympus. I still believe Olympus is a massive long-term project, and another one that like they have a really smart team. They bring in a crazy amount of revenue, and it's going to be, in the long run, it's going to be pretty massive. And so Sphere, same kind of thing where I'm like, dang, what is this going to become? Are we going to see Sim like on like NBS, whatever it's called, MSNBC? We're going to see him in a suit. He's like got his, his hair back, and he's like talking on his little yacht, and he's like, yes, blah, 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 economics, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yes, Sim's spoken and the market's moved. I don't know.
Economics, blah, blah, blah.
I just say blah, 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 Bitcoin moons.
I don't know. The future is going to be crazy because I think crypto is going to be huge. Like if you just look at the crypto market, I think, it's really small. There's this thing happening they call it the Great Wealth Transfer over the next 15 years. $69 trillion is going to go from the older generations to the younger generations. And the younger generations, you love them, you hate them. We're all kind of dumb, and we just throw our money into crypto, into like the dumbest project. Like there is so much money is going to flow into here, whether you want it to or not. It's going to flow into crypto, and the smart projects are going to be the ones that are going to be able to take that money, steward it well, and build empires. And I think Sphere has the potential to be one of those projects.
Appreciate you, man. Sorry, I was drinking. Just laying back and just listening to this music in my ears. That is what we are pursuing here. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are not looking for a quick buck. Like I said, most of our team members. What I said publicly is we don't build, and sorry for the profanity, but we don't build a-holes, right? We are building to create something that even the last investor, whenever he joins, he's still gonna make bank. That is how we operate within the team. You guys see already on what we are building. In the meantime, we have a lot of ideas how to make Sphere go like, very fast to a very big pace, right? Let's say to $100 million market cap or whatever. We can make this go hard, like we could make Sphere Moon like easily, right? By deploying utility that actually incentivize short-term growth, but long-term harm. But we don't want that, right? We are building not for you guys that are here now listening, because you guys are early. Most of you are going to make, or I hope most of you are going to make money of a lifetime here. But what happens when the last person comes into Sphere and they want money as well, right? Because they invest believing that they're going to make some revenue from that. And that is how we are working. This is the way we are working. And more on that is, things are moving quickly because, we're approaching things differently, so to say, we are allowing people to do what they're experts in, as opposed for us to do everything ourselves, right? We could do things, we could fork basically things and create our own twist, but rather we incubate these experts and provide them the stage, and they create something new, right?
Yeah.
So we work with other experts so that we can bring more utility effectively. And actually, this approach reduces risk by allowing other experts to do what they're great at, as opposed to us trying to create everything from scratch. And this is also where, our utility is booming, because we are not scared to say we're working with Project X and Y and Z. And that is, I think, how this rapid pace within the Sphere ecosystem comes, because we're incubating all these different projects under this big umbrella that is Sphere.
I love it. And I want to keep talking for forever. And I was just thinking we probably should answer some of these questions. I know Matt's been building up a pretty massive list over there. And so, Matt, do you want to start asking some of these questions?
Yes.
We're already talking for an hour. It's crazy, man. But sorry, before you talk, Matthew,
take it away, bro.
When we sit here, right? I don't even look at the listeners. We are just talking. Like I love the vibe. Staying here at the stage, people listen to us like a podcast, and we all talk together on here. It's unreal. Like I just look at the time an hour passed, and it was just like that, right?
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was 5 either. I looked up and I was like, oh my gosh, we've been talking for an hour.
It is unreal. It's crazy. Nah,
Who was that random person that jumped on the stage? That was weird.
Someone just jumped on the stage.
That was weird.
Yeah, somebody jumped on the stage for a second. Then
How's that possible? We said
Crypto Mayhem.
Oh, what's
It's
up?
me. Hi guys. Just thought I'd say hello, and Sim, thanks for everything.
You're welcome. I saw your message, your DMs.
Yeah,
I don't know if I answered because I closed down the DM.
No, yeah,
I
you did.
appreciate you. Yeah, okay,
I'm gonna get a video in you guys at some point as well. You've done an amazing job. You've impressed me.
Yeah.
Sorry for just popping in. I actually clicked it by accident.
Oh, you're good.
no worries. You're good.
But yeah, you've helped me with funds and stuff, and I'm glad your project encourages people to take profits and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is the A&O. Like, this is the most important thing. You don't have the gains if you don't realize them. And that is what I say every time. You could have a token that is worth $10 million, but if you don't cash out at one point, it can go to zero and you make nothing. It also helps the project because when you sell, you take off the APY, the pressure of the APY. You're going to send tokens to the event horizon, and on top of that, you're creating a dip for other people, new believers, to come into Sphere and join with a lower price. Right? It's win-win-win-win for everyone.
Indeed. Well, I just thought I'd pop in and say thank you, and
thank you
awesome listening in.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers, man.
And if you guys don't know, the reason why Crypto Mayhem or FXO was able to jump up here is because he is one of the Shields of Obsidian, which is the new community moderator position. If you're interested in that, you can fill out an application and work with Obsidian. Have to shill there because I just saw him pop up.
No. You're very welcome.
Got to shill a little bit. Add to the team. It's a strictly volunteer position. It's just people that are really engaged in the community that want to help out. So if anyone's interested in that, let me know. Anyways, Sim Sala. Next question here.
I love you, man.
Love you too, brother. That's funny. First question from Tangzon. I know you touched on this probably like 20 minutes ago, just a little bit, but just for new people jumping in. And I think with the way that you are so passionate about building a product that exists for everybody and not just the big guy that was here on day one, I felt like it would be a good one to start off and answer. From Tangzon, a little longer question here. I'm a small investor. Me and I guess many like me have invested maybe a couple $100 max, and we are hoping and praying for this project to keep going long-term and change our lives. I'm not aiming for Lambos or planes. I really don't need that. I am aiming for a better future for my wife and my kids.
Amen.
The question is, will this project still be around for 6 to 12 months when my compounding may have a legitimate impact on my life forever? How do you plan to make this project, and I know you've touched on some insane things already, but how do you plan to make this project last longer so it's not just a whale win project and some of us smaller guys can win as well?
So first of all, I really hope that you can reach your expectations, your goal. I'm not shooting for moon boys. I'm actually building this to actually help people that but not in need in a sense, but that really actually need the money, right? So I hope, I'm aiming for Sphere to be a project that is going to be around 10 years. Sphere is aiming to become a store of value with forced, and now the emphasis is on forced, right? Store of value, so let me reiterate, a store of value with forced appreciation. And why is it forced? It's because our treasury is a money printing machine at one point. Bitcoin, for example, is a store of value, yes, but it's with a perceived appreciation. The big difference is because there's perception in Bitcoin's value. If people suddenly would think, okay, Bitcoin is not worth anything, Bitcoin would technically go to zero. But with a forced appreciation, the treasury is going to be working on keeping the price afloat in a sense, right? And ever so growing. So the treasury is going to be something for the people for the long term, and even in 5 or 10 years, what I believe is the vision that I have with the Sphere is you hold Bitcoin, for example, you hold Ethereum, and then you hold Sphere. because Sphere is going to be an ever appreciating token. This is not a project for a quick flip. This project is not meant to be a quick flip. And to put the emphasis on why and how we are working on improving on that is stuff like the dynamic tags, right? Adding on top of, if whales come in, and shout out to every big bag holder Sphere, right? All of them are amazing. I have a group chat with them. When you hit a certain threshold with your Sphere tokens, you can join us, and then we can talk about strategies on how you can, for example, exit the protocol in a safe manner without hurting the protocol, right? So we already had some over-the-counter deals until V2 comes out, where people can sell their Sphere token towards the treasury directly, and they receive the token. They receive, the money at a lesser discount, lesser tax. So they're not hurting the protocol's price in a sense, right? So we have been working on how to, protect the investors, the small bag investors, to, safely grow with the Sphere ecosystem. And with all these different utility items, we actually aim to have, with the burning mechanism, and something I cannot talk about yet, that is going to be for another AMA, because we already have enough hype today.
Gotta save a little bit.
Save a little bit. You cannot shoot all your ammo. But we fixed a lot of problems, and that is the only thing I'm going to say. But we are working for a long-term strategy, and we aim to make Sphere become self-sustainable and not reliant on any investor's money at one point. That is the goal of Sphere. We want to build this massive treasury that earns $100-200 billion of liquidity every year by itself, then $1 billion, then $2 billion, without you doing anything. And the beauty of DeFi is everything works through smart contracts, right? So it's mainly gross profits coming from, smart treasury investments that goes back to the investors at one point. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Fantastic answer. The person who asked that question just said, "Thank you so much for taking my question. I got goosebumps. Thank you, Sim, for the answer. Really love this project, and I'm with you all the way." We got ride or die community members here. I love to see it. Next question would be, this is just a super simple one in regards to transferring, just like a basic question, transferring tokens to a ledger. Yeah. Do you guys have do you have an idea of when that will be available? And then someone asked, do you have any plans on ever reducing wallet transfer fees if it was like one time to a ledger or something like that?
We are lucky. We are very, blessed to have so many bright minds within our community. Shout out to Equinox. I know you are listening to me, my mon ami. He has actually been working on improving the smart contract as a sort of right now freelance Solidity dev. So we have multiple devs right now working on the contract, and we are currently not sure. We are sitting there thinking right now on how to do that actually. Because the big problem is if you create this could create a gray market in a sense where people could, transfer their tokens to someone else and, they don't pay a tax and they earn the money. So let's say you don't want to hold Sphere anymore, right? So you send the tokens to someone else who wants to hold Sphere, right? So the treasury doesn't benefit from you holding and sending it to someone else. So that is like the downside of things. But what I can say is we are going to be most likely implementing it to the next contract, but we are going to be evaluating it, and we are going to see the potential risks and the potential benefits of it, and we're going to be sitting down and really going to evaluate. I'm sorry, guys, but the treasury and the protocol's health is at utmost importance, and opening some way of kind of pseudo exploit is a big problem, right? If you can swap the tokens left and right, this creates a gray market, and we have to evaluate on how we want to do this and how we want to improve on it.
What if you did something like, you had to like double sign in the same browser? Like that would prove that at least both people are at the same location, and so you have a lot less likelihood of any sort of gray market appearing.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to be honest here. This sounds like a solution. First of all, the signing is, I think it's not on chain, so we cannot really verify it in that sense. and that can be manipulated, right? On that sense, and on top of that is, I forgot the other one. Yeah.
Well, you know it best, and yeah, you're right. The
Yeah.
protocol's health is going to be the most important. I think everyone agrees there. Like, it'd be nice to be able to transfer it like between wallets, but it's not the end of the world that we can't. We'd rather the project succeed long term than, you know, even open the chance of that, you know, being any sort of negative on the project.
Exactly. Like I said, yeah. So yeah, I don't really know what to say on that. I'm very sorry for people, you know, that cannot do that right now. I'm thinking on ways on how to improve it. Trust me, guys. I'm really sitting there. That is one of the big items on our, you know, on our to-do list. And making drastic changes now before V2 is something not very feasible right now. That is what I can say. We are already in talks with Certic. They started the auditing, and we're talking with Solidity Finance, and they started the audit. Doing too many different changes will prolong the audit as well. So what I can suggest now, and if you're a content maker, right, if you make videos or something, please, if you shout out on Sphere, you do a video on Sphere, please tell the people or your community, if you have a ledger, please use that ledger to buy Sphere directly.
Yep,
right?
solid answer. And
Sure.
yeah, amazing answer. And the reality is...
One more thing.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
Go for it.
One more thing is, if you believe in Sphere long term, this 18% tax, they're coming back in, I think, 1.5 weeks.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, okay, awesome.
Yep, exactly. That it's not like, as long as you're holding, you're going to make that back pretty quickly. And I wanted to note also, it looks like Sphere's price is booming right now. As we're doing this AMA, we just passed 3 cents. We are like so close to passing the all-time high. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
Amazing, guys. Shout outs to everyone.
My wallet is looking a lot better just since this AMA started. So thank you, community.
Awesome community. Shout out to you guys. I love each and every one of you. You've been so amazing, giving me so much power. We actually, and a lot of questions that I receive is, how can you wake up and be motivated every single day to work on things, right? You don't take a break. People literally message me and say, go to sleep, Sim. Man, you've been working so much. Go to sleep. Take a break. For God's sake, take a break. It's a passion, right? And on top of that, we have this channel called, I think, Sphere and Freedom. I don't know the name changed. But basically what that does is people message their vision of how Sphere changed their lives. And that is what really, really, you know, motivates me working on Sphere. Every day I wake up, you know, I wash my hands, brush my teeth, take a shower, wash my hands again, touch my phone, read through these chats, right, to the, you know, Sphere and Freedom channel, and I just read every message that comes that is new. And sometimes if there's no new messages, I just scroll back and reread old messages. And that is what keeps me, you know, pumping, keeping working on things.
Guys, we just crossed 3 cents again. I don't even understand. I was just like,
oh, that's what
I haven't checked the price since. I actually haven't checked it for a couple of days, but I know I saw a text where people were like, Sphere's dumping yesterday, and people just ate that. Like, not even a big deal. Just like, boom, community's back up. Like it didn't even happen. I don't even understand.
That's one thing that people message. Is Sim married? His wife must be so understanding. The woman of my life is actually listening right now. She's also part of the voice chat. So yeah, I am, you know, I have a woman in my life, and I'm very, very happy to have her. Shout out to you. And yeah.
Hey, good thing you do, because like Dadbod Bathgod just commented in the ledger, he said if Sim isn't married yet, he's going to have a lot of proposals soon.
No, guys, I'm off the market.
But Sphere isn't. Get in.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, let's shoot with the next question.
My wife just texted me and said, are you still in that love meeting? I think she meant live, but it is a love meeting.
It is a love meeting.
The next question we have is from Neo, asking how directly, just for like the average investor, if they were to not understand, how does the quantum liquidity and everything else you're creating, how does that immediately benefit the investors of Sphere?
Yeah, good question. So let's take a look from the liquidity pool of things, right? If you look at it from the liquidity pool side, the more liquidity in the liquidity pool, the less big buys and sells affect the price. So you're going to have a project with a very, very steady price flow. That is already beneficial. And on top of that, we can take that excess liquidity, for example, and buy tokens off the market, on the market, and burn them, pushing the price back up. Hello?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. My B.
Ah, okay. No, I just saw the chat not chatting anymore. I think we broke the server.
I think Ronak had it on slow down. So.
No, like literally no message anymore.
Oh, let's see.
Like the last message I can see is from Dad, but Bad God.
If you're listening right now, comment in there so we make sure. Let's see. Chat here. You're right. It might be broken. I can't even send a message right now. Did we break it?
No, I think it's Discord. My messages aren't loading either.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shoot. Well, the good news is I'm recording on OBS, so we're not bound to Discord server issues. This is why Discord bots crash all the time, by the way, because this kind of stuff happens.
But I don't like weird. Other servers work.
Well, it's not the servers aren't working. It's that like I have a message I'm trying to open right now, and it won't even load.
Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, I thought we just broke Discord, the server. But
yeah, with 1,000 people, dude. If you're listening right now, our highest AMA listener count before today was 700, and our new highest is with Sphere at 1,025 listeners. That's amazing, and that's just all at once. I'm sure we had more people jumping in and out, but unreal.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check real quick and make sure people can still listen to this because, I mean, obviously we can hear each other, but like my
Yo, T-Funk, text me if you can hear us right now. Oh wait, he's up here. Shoot. Reno Ramen, text me if you can hear us right now. I'm trying to think about who has my number that's on
anyone
this.
Who can mess.
The very few of you that have my phone number, text me if you can hear us right now. Or Dad.
Yeah, we have a bunch of people leaving the meeting right now. I don't know.
Yeah, I have Weaver say we can hear you.
Yeah, Reno Ramen just said they can hear us also. For some reason, all of the chat on Discord is broken right now. I mean, we can answer a couple more questions and then call it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, sorry you guys, Discord is being funny, and for some reason you can't comment, but I can tell that you guys can still hear us, so that's a win.
Yeah, that is a win. Man, people are weird. Like, I see people doing Sim. Is Sim married?
People are in love with you. Welcome to fame, Sim. When I first got 1,000 likes on an Instagram photo, this is what I felt like. People are falling in love with you right now.
Yeah, no.
You're making winners.
Oh, yeah, awesome. I'm really happy, but please, guys, don't put me on any pedestal or anything. I'm just a builder. I can't emphasize that enough.
Okay, can you talk about the Sphere DApp? At any point, will we be able to buy? I had a few people asking about like being able to buy Sphere with a credit card inside of your own DApp, or will there be a point where you're able to spend Sphere tokens for other things and not just investing? Do you want to talk about either of those things a little bit?
Yeah. It's in the talks.
Yeah, you can't. You don't need to leak any hype you'd want to save, but
in the talks. Yeah, we have that in mind.
Cool.
Please.
Awesome.
We're looking at these
things. Next question. We'll go with. We have a few questions just about. I mean, the reality is, anytime you have a high APY project, people wonder how long can this be sustainable. And you have talked a lot about methods that you are creating to counterbalance the high APY. Do you see yourself lowering the APY at some point? Is that in the roadmap? And at what point, if that's in the roadmap, at what point do you intend on lowering? And do you have an idea for what you would lower it to? That's a tough question. We just had like 10 questions about it.
What? Go for it,
do you
Jesse.
think, Jesse?
I was just gonna say, maybe you should just defer this question for now.
Okay, that's fair. So you have something working. Obviously, there for people listening. Obviously, there's something happening.
I was working on something pretty dang insane, like revolutionary when it comes to that. And you're just gonna have to be on the edge of your seat for a little bit because, like he said, it's been a very full meeting already. And yeah.
Cool. So you are paying attention. Yeah, you are paying attention to the APY issue in the space, and you have something cooking behind the scenes.
No comments.
Well, I love it. No comment is the best kind of comment.
As far as is he paying attention? Because I've actually had people ask me that about spheres. Like, do they even know this? And it's like, I think Sim understands how APY works. He taught me so much about like how the APY is affected by this thing and that thing, and when anyone sells, how that cuts the APY and all this kind of stuff. But that is like one of the things he talks about and thinks about more than anything. And he has not one, but like he has multiple different ideas in that realm. And he has gone through some pretty extensive thought processes when it comes to that. And some of, like he's not saying anything on it, but some of the ideas are pretty dang like crazy. So
cool, awesome. Oh wait, someone can hear us. There is a chat back. Welcome.
Yeah, the chat is, yeah. People are typing. Yes, sir.
We're back. I tried to say, "Are we back?" and it wouldn't send, but it looks like other people can send. So that's awesome. Look at that. Dang. One more question that is not going to require you to dox some amazing stuff or reveal stuff beforehand. So just on a basic level, what is governance? Just because Sphere is so involved with pursuing governance, what is governance and what does it do for a project like Sphere?
100%. What governance does basically is you can decide how other projects are, and you can move the money the way it benefits your project. Because you have to imagine you hold 51%. You hold 51%, right, over a project. So an example is Red Bull, right? The CEO or whatever of Red Bull holds 51% over Red Bull, or 50.1%. So that basically means whatever vote has to happen, he still is like the main person gives the answer if it happens. And now apply that logic to DeFi, where you can decide this project how it moves and that project how it moves. We are not becoming this parasite in a sense, but because they're going to be benefiting from us, because we are going to be, we are going to keep using, the utility, and we're going to be improving their project. But we can then decide on how the project operates to actually provide to our project the most returns. So let's say, very, very basic, you have a farm, okay? And that farm has a special token. And the more tokens you hold from that farm, the more you can influence which farm or which pool is going to get more liquidity. Because you can decide, okay, this pool is more important than the other pool. And when Sphere holds a majority in that pool, and on top of that decides, okay, Sphere's pool is more important, we are going to have more and more incentive on that pool. And that means we're going to have more and more money coming to us, because it's going to be like this avalanche, right? This snowballing effect, where it's going to be a flywheel, more and more and more and more. Because we keep deciding and we keep holding the supreme governance over these different projects, where we can decide, okay, our incentive is going to be the one or most important a project there.
Awesome. Yeah, great question. Next question from Strongbow. Just going to try to rapid fire a few of these since we've been going for a while. Will Sphere's price reflect the projects it invests in, like an index fund?
Yes. So the grand goal of thing is we are going to have inflation countering the radical inflation that we have currently. And that is even not radical in that sense, because we're adding so many, well, it's the radical, but we are adding radical deflation on it. And at one point, we're going to stop that radical inflation. It's going to be pure deflationary. So the price, all the dividends that we acquire over time is actually then being used to pump the price of Sphere over time. It's going to inevitably go up because at one point, like I said, store of value with forced appreciation, guys, tattoo that on your, on your cheeks. This is going to be the true thing, right? Store of value with forced appreciations. When we stop inflating and we start only deflating at one point and we make an excess, profit, the project will keep going up and up and up and up because less and less tokens will be in circulation.
Awesome. Next rapid fire question. How do we compete in the Sphere games, and do the Sphere games give equal opportunity to smaller wallets?
How to participate is you basically put in your Sphere tokens in that pool, and you're going to have a threshold, right? You're going to have a tax on your tokens. So when you leave preemptively, you're going to be losing, a certain percentages of these tokens. We calculated on how to make sure if they would leave, how they could, when they leave, how we can make sure the projects or the people inside are still going to benefit. So when you join, you're going to have these 14 days tokens. If you want to leave beforehand, you're going to pay a tax. It starts at 30%, and it drips down over time to 0 for everyone that joins at your current timestamp. So the idea, of course, what we thought about is, of course, since it's a raffle, it's a sweepstake, the bigger amount you put into that pool, and that is what you have to think about. If you want to have this massive pool, you will need this massive liquidity, and of that, you wouldn't join this pool if you put in $1,000 and your neighbor puts a $1 and you both have 50-50 chance of winning, right? Makes no sense. So yes, the bigger your holdings in that pool is going to be reflecting your position in that pool, your odds. So, but the nice and big change is once they win, they're going to be automatically blacklisted for some time. So even if they're going to still be taxed and they're going to still be providing to the pool, but they can't win multiple times. They can't win multiple rows, right? So they win, that's cool and dandy. Okay, they still have to stay inside and provide to that pool. And once their tax is lifted, they can then exit. So they win once, and the remaining days that they are inside of the is actually then used to incentivize the other people.
Awesome. Yeah, great in-depth answer. Next, from Almighty. It's a two-part question. It seems that every time we hit an all-time high or have a dip and recover, the bogged bot contract sells like crazy. Is there a way we can prevent the bot from dumping every time we hit highs? And that fee that bogged and QuickSwap collects, is it in Sphere? If it is, then does that Sphere rebase in the contract wallet? Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Wait,
I was saying thanks from them. No, they typed it in.
No, yeah.
You're good.
Thanks, both of you. So, yes, of course, the rebasing doesn't discriminate. Everyone rebases the same, right? And that's why I said the event horizon keeps rebasing, and it keeps growing its market cap because it rebases. And so does every contract and every address on the blockchain that holds Sphere, it is rebasing. Just to make sure that is clear. And I talked about quantum liquidity in we are moving from bug, we are moving from QuickSwap, we're moving to our house solution. And yeah, guys, who's gonna dump on Sphere? We are gonna dump on ourselves.
No, sir.
No, sir. So I think that is I think the solution is there.
Awesome. This question was asked a few times from Skexis, and it was specifically about like KYC and doxing and the security behind it. He said, my question is about the security that doxing, or in this case, KYC, that the Obsidian Council provides for Sphere, considering the events and known identity of, per se, Matt Wallace and the Accept Crypto rug. Being known/legal blowback doesn't seem to have slowed them down. Of course, it isn't proven, but it's quite obvious, or it's a double bluff. It still speaks to the safety that doxing provides. Thanks, everyone. I wanted to jump in and answer part of that real quick and say one of the reasons why we decided to start the KYC organization inside of the Obsidian ecosystem is because there was a lack of actual action being taken when projects were rugging, and it seemed like nothing was happening. Part of the reason was because there are a lot of KYC organizations that prioritize just immediate profit. What that means is what they're doing essentially is accepting every single project that comes to them and taking a quick KYC just to make a quick buck. And then some of these projects are rugging and they didn't actually set up a system for how to deal with a rug. It was just about a quick buck. And when we decided to enter the space, one of the things that we were passionate about was being able to say that we can have 0 rugs. And so far, we're there, and we're hoping that we stay there. And part of how we do that is that there's a significant interview process involved. We don't just have, so for Simsala, for example, we don't just have Sim fill out a quick form, send us his government ID, and then he passes. There's actually an extensive interview process where there's a recorded conversational face-to-face interview where we deal with like psychological questions and moral questions and philosophical questions outside of just the financial ones. And there's a whole denial. I mean, there's a lot of people that, and this doesn't mean that they're a rug, but there are a lot of projects that actually get denied and do not go through our KYC process. And we try to set a higher standard with the KYC and choose projects that have quality teams that we actually really want to believe in, and not just like, oh, cool, these guys paid us a little bit of money, hopefully they don't rug. There's an extensive process that they go through. Do you want to say anything else on the security of KYC, Sim or Jesse?
Well, I'll just say, as far as Sim goes and as far as like Sphere goes, like every time, and this is another big thing we do with our KYC, is if anyone wants to access the treasury, always present has to be a KYC'd member. So always a public sort of figure has to be able signing when they access the treasury. And a lot of times when you have like a rug, you'll have like, it won't be like that. They'll have, 5 people can access the treasury. One of them's KYC. They only need 3 to sign. The other 3 access it and pull the funds or something like that. And so, yeah, maybe a public identity is available, but maybe that's the person that, maybe not the person that did it. There's no way to cover it 100% to say like, yeah, people could publicly, I guess, commit theft. And then if that was the case, then it'd be up to the authorities. But like, it has never even crossed my mind. I don't even know why it's being asked about Sphere. I was like, literally never even crossed my mind with Sphere that would ever in a million billion years happen. Like you can just tell from like the way that Sphere, I mean, maybe you can't, but I talked to Sim a lot on the back end, and he is like a very, very empathetic, very like, he wants to see everyone succeed. He's all about like giving away. He never even thinks about money. He's like, he literally, he tries to send me randomly just money for no reason. I'm like, Sim, stop it. I don't want money randomly. And he's like, but you're so nice. And I'm like, stop it, Sim. Like he is just a very giving and just like kind person. And I think I can't even fathom that happening with Sphere, and the way they've set it up, he's a hand washer, guys. He has set up security measures on security measures on security measures on even more security measures, and then there's probably more outside of that we don't even know about. Like that's not something you should ever be, in my mind, not something that should ever even cross your mind when it comes to Sphere.
And I'll jump in and say one other thing also. To piggyback on what Jesse just said, just as an additional sign of trust, and this is not something that we require with KYC, but just as an additional sign of trust, Sim gave one of the multi-sig keys to the Obsidian Council, and he gave another multi-sig key to Taylor, who is up on the stage right here, and is one of our staff members. And so we actually hold 2 from our team, essentially. We hold 2 of their multi-sig keys as well, just as like an additional sign of trust to say, we really, really want the public to understand that what we're doing is trying to be as transparent and above board as possible. And I think that is commendable.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys jumping in there. Yeah, guys, if it was about me, I would, because, crypto is this legal gray area where every single day, depending on what politicians, wake up, it's good, it's bad, you never know. And I don't want to become, because Sphere, what I aim for Sphere is to become this multi-billion-dollar project, right? And you can see these different blockchains. I don't remember what blockchain, Hex or something. I really don't know which project that is, but they are actually, getting sued for something that is not even illegal. And I don't think any of our team members should have that worry that, if suddenly for whatever reason what we do now not allowed, and then they want to make an example of us, so they scare the people that are in DeFi. We don't want to be that. And on top of that, I actually received death threat already, personally, where people were like, I know, like, you are KYC. I will find your identity. I will do X, Y, Z to you. And I don't want to be sleeping with one eye open the entire time or entire life, because people are going to be emotionally invested in the project. Right? So, yeah, this is a private reason why I don't KYC why I don't dox my KYC. I have no problem, because I know this project is going somewhere huge. But I don't want, because you guys want to make some money. I don't want you guys. I don't want to sacrifice the security of my family for this.
Yep, exactly. Solid answer. Well, we have been talking for like an hour and 45 minutes. Usually we cut our AMAs off at an hour, and we didn't even get to questions till we passed an hour. So this has been a really good one. Before we wrap up, do you want to just give a quick point? If people are wanting, after hearing everything you're doing, if people want to get involved and invested in Sphere's future, what do they need to do?
Get on Polygon, buy the Sphere token, DCA, take profits, guys. This is all, you realize your gains, have the protocol help you. Make sure, you don't get greedy. That is like the biggest thing. Make sure you take risk off the table. Play with House's money, because the House is gonna make even more money in the future. And like I said, at one point, we don't believe in relying on investors' money, but we're going to create our own money, right? Well, not create our own money, but we're bringing in our own money to the project. So you guys, you have to take profits. DCA, don't put in your entire bag at a huge pump, and then suddenly, there's a correction similarly to what happened yesterday, and people are like, yeah, I bought an entire bag at 3 cents, and what is happening now, right? Please DCA in, buy, responsibly, sell sometimes to take profit. That is very important, because if you don't take profits, nothing is realized, and your life doesn't change because of that. If you don't take profits, you can have $1 million worth of Sphere tokens, but if you don't take money out, and the token plummets for whatever reason, who knows? Only God knows what is coming in the future, right? Make sure you take profits. You live, live a good life, and yeah, man. I think that wraps up our next. I think the entirety of the core team thanks each and every one of you guys for participating in the AMA, joining us, talking to us. Coming to the voice chat. Sometimes I sit there and just talk to the true Spherians. People come. Shout out, for example, to Katu Tenma. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Creating Medium articles just because he appreciates the team. I see people coming wanting to create NFTs, post Sphere, all that kind of things. You guys are amazing. You guys are pushing us to the next level. And yeah, guys, you just keep going, and just sit down, relax. Make sure to not look at the chart all day. That doesn't help you. Touch some grass, guys. You are all nerds, sitting all day looking at the chart. Literally, touch some grass, guys. Take your woman out. Take some profits. Go eat something beautiful with the love of your life. Be it a woman, man, or yeah. So yeah. No, the only thing that shouldn't be green in your life is a green candle. That is what I want to make sure. Get out of your basement.
I'm currently sitting in my basement, which is where my home office is.
Me too.
Awesome, Sam. Well, we super appreciate you. This has been an amazing AMA. And I mean, I'm honestly just grateful that we were able to connect with you when we did, and that 100%. We get to help you guys succeed and partner alongside you as you go conquer the world, like you said earlier.
100%. I'm looking forward for episode 3 of this. This will be a back-to-back AMA, the House of Obsidian. We are gonna help you guys hit that 100,000 Discord members soon, and you guys help us, bring the word out. You guys are family.
1 billion market cap for for Sphere, 100,000 Discord members for the House of Obsidian. Those are our current goals.
That is our
1
goal,
billion
baby.
short term. Long term, we want to hit.
Yeah, that's why I said current goals.
Current goals. Yeah.
Those are our small goals. Good putting us in check, Jesse.
Yeah, thanks, Jesse. Keeping us thriving that.
All right, well, everyone go wash your hands. This was amazing. Anything you want to say, Jesse?
Oh, this has been awesome. We're always just awesome. It's always awesome to have Sim and Gio up on the stage talking. One time, I think it'd be really interesting to just have you guys on stage to talk about DeFi in general and just talk about the crypto space and where you think it's going. And I think that'd be a really interesting conversation to have one of these days. But I'm excited for part 3 on Sphere as well. I feel like at the rate you guys are going, it'll have to be like definitely sooner rather than later, because, I feel like every couple weeks it's like an entirely new project in the sense that you've added so many awesome, incredible feature, like not just one revolutionary feature, but you have like these multiple revolutionary things that you're implementing in the project that I expect great things from you guys. And I'm really excited to see where this project goes a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. Like the more time, I feel like the more we're going to see this project just really become something incredible in the DeFi space.
Appreciate you, man. There was one thing I wanted to
Thanks,
say.
guys.
But I literally forgot again. Crazy. Yeah, one more thing. It just came to mind. Don't look at the market cap on deck screener. Our market cap is displayed on our website, and people thinking they missed Sphere, and a lot of, let's say, forks and stuff are saying, you missed Sphere. Guys, we had a $50 million market cap. You are still early. We are talking here about $1 billion market cap. If you calculate that, that would be a 20x from now without calculating rebases. So do with that information what you will, but you are still early. Don't think you missed it out. We are just getting started, baby.
Just getting started, baby.
1,000%.
Let's end it on that. That's great. Nobody say anything else. I want you to do that. Sim, you got to say that again. Nobody's going to say anything else, and then the meeting's over. Go, Sim.
Let's get started, baby.
Não se esqueçam de subscrever ao canal Learn and Share aqui na Season MarketWatch e vemo-nos no próximo vídeo.